The moments whenever you need to be in the hospital the worst, you're the sickest, are also the same times when you want to be in the hospital least. Like, all right, it is Saturday morning. The house is a mess right now, and I'm going upstairs for the first time in days, and I'm actually gonna put on some makeup for the first time since Tuesday. And if you didn't watch the last vlog, or if you haven't been following along on my Instagram story, I had my egg retrieval this week, and there have been complications and bad side effects. But right now, all I can think about is waiting on our call from the embryologist that we're getting this morning. I honestly would have thought that we would have already gotten it because it's already like 11 right now. I've just been taking it easy at home more than anything. Oh my gosh. Just going up that amount of stairs has me like, but we're waiting on our day 3 call, and that's all I've been thinking about. And I've just like, I didn't even want to get in the shower because I've just felt like the second I get in the shower, they're gonna call me. That's how my life always works. I always have to like jump out of the shower all wet and answer the phone. But that's all I'm thinking about right now. And I just feel like putting on a little makeup, freshening up a little bit. It's the first day that I felt like enough energy to do that. And I'll tell you the whole story of everything that happened this week and how it all went down, and tell you what the embryologist says whenever they call. And we're just really, really hoping for good news, and we're staying positive, you know, despite everything. And yeah, I'm gonna try to get this face together real quick while we wait on this call. This is me.
I'm just calling to give you your day 3 embryo update if you have a second.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay. So we had
you did it.
Good. I'm so happy.
I know. That's so good. That's what we're gonna put in that guy. If that guy's sleeping at night, that's a freighter.
Dive right in the front door. Okay, so coming to at home was definitely not in our plan, and I wasn't even planning on doing any vlogging while we were out for lunch, just because we did get our call from the embryologist, and I put on way more makeup than I was planning because I was on the phone updating her on everything that we learned from that call. So I have news for you. I want to tell the whole story, and I didn't want to make you wait, but I feel like this is a moment worthy of sharing. Hopefully it is. because I just got a tweet from Jessica. Thank you, Jessica, if you're watching. And she sent me a link to a collection that they have at home. And it looks like most of the stuff, if not all of the stuff, goes so well with my white Christmas tree decor. It's all like colorful and like kind of retro, and it's really pretty. And it looks like you can't order at home stuff online. So it said that this at home location, oh my gosh, my necklace just like fell apart.
What?
This charm falls off, and I kind of have messed with it a lot. So anyway, we were right next to this at home location when we were having lunch, and so Grant was like, we should just go for it. And this is the first time I've been out of the house to do anything except for go to the doctor's in the last couple days since the egg retrieval, and I do kind of feel like I'm pushing it a little bit. Like in the car on the way to lunch, I was feeling like a little bit nauseous, but it might have just been because I'm hungry, and I don't want to make myself feel worse in any way. But I just can't resist looking at Christmas decorations, and Grant was very encouraging, which is so sweet. We know, we love him. We're trying to plan early.
Yeah, get on it this year. We got a house to decorate.
I know.
Our own house.
We need outdoor decorations too.
Well, we need indoor too.
We
And they have
don't
both
need more.
here.
Yeah, they do.
So
Yeah, so we're just gonna run in. I kind of feel
just
like
gonna run in.
I'm just gonna run right in. I'm just gonna sprint right in. I kind of feel when I'm talking to the camera, like I'm not noticing that I'm short of breath really like in regular life, but when I'm talking to the camera, I feel like I'm not breathing enough to like talk and talk and talk like that. And I kind of feel like the kid on Malcolm in the Middle. Do you know what I'm talking about? His buddy.
Yeah.
Stevie.
Hey.
I kind of feel like that. Anyway, that's what we're doing, and that's why I'm vlogging and including you. And hopefully we find this collection. I don't know, at-home stores are so chaotic. Hopefully they're like right up front or something. Oh, trying to fix this necklace and it's not working. I'm ready for some holiday cheer now, especially. Now more than ever somehow. This is my vibe. Here it is. Okay, this is the collection, but this is not nearly as much stuff as they had online. Look at these houses. Oh, they're actually ornaments. I thought they were just like standalone glitter houses, putz houses. Look, just look how cute these are. Why on earth would I ever make another putz house when you can buy one for $5.99? Like these. Gotta say I hate these. All right, we're back home, and looking back, we probably shouldn't have gone to at home. It probably wasn't a good idea for me, but I like to pretend like I'm doing just fine when I'm not. That's kind of a theme for me, I'm realizing. But I did get some stuff, a couple of nice Christmas treasures, so I figured might as well share it. They didn't have any of the Evelyns that I saw online, and I'm very sad about that. But that probably just means that I need to go back at a later date, because there was that whole blank space next to where all this stuff was. So I'm thinking they're gonna be getting more. All right, I'm gonna show you everything I got. Okay, so the first thing I got are these pastel glitter icicle ornaments. I think they're really, really pretty, and I think they're gonna look perfect on the white skinny tree. I don't wanna overwhelm that tree with too many ornaments, so I just got 4, but I just think these are so cool, and I don't have any ornaments like these. And then the next thing I got, obviously, are the 2 little glitter putz houses, and I just lit them up for the first time, and they are so stinking cute. I can hardly stand it. I was going through each one trying to find the ones that weren't messed up, because honestly it looked like these little houses have already been through it. It kind of looks like I could have made these, but they definitely have more details than the ones that I've made in the past. And they were only $6, which is kind of crazy. They're really, really, really cute. I love the snow. I think I might have to paint a little bit of white here to touch that up, but like How cute are these? And I've decided I don't want to hang these like ornaments, even though they have these hangers. I'm just gonna cut the hanger part off and set them out on display like I have my other pets' houses. I think that would be really, really cute. Okay. If you've been watching the vlogs, you know when we have serious things to talk about, we sit down at the kitchen table and talk about them.
As a family.
This is definitely a serious topic. I want to talk about the hard road we've been on for the past half a week since the egg retrieval on Wednesday. But then I also have good news, and I'm going to save the good news till the end because I don't know, I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
We did our retrieval on Wednesday morning early, and as far as I know, everything went smoothly. It was all kind of the same as the last time we did an egg retrieval, except once I got out, I was immediately nauseous and I was just about to leave, and the nurse was going to walk with me down to meet up with Grant because he was waiting for me. He wasn't allowed to come in or anything because of COVID. And I was like, I'm not feeling well. I think I'm gonna throw up. So she grabbed me like a baggie for the car and like some alcohol wipes, and we got in the elevator and it hit me. And I was like, I'm about to throw up in this elevator right now.
She got out of this elevator and was
white as a
green.
ghost.
No, green. Like
Yeah,
pea
not
soup
looking
green.
good. I was not looking good
And-
for 2 days.
Yeah, but overall, I thought it went a little bit quicker. Like you were definitely in the post-op area, shorter. It felt like it was in and out almost.
It is a pretty quick thing. Like
Yeah.
they take you in, and it's a very precisely timed thing. Like you do your trigger at 9:15 p.m. and then 36 hours later, that's when your egg retrieval is, and it's exactly at 9:15 a.m. and it has to be like that. And I was out for about 30 minutes, I think. Anyway, so that was immediately very different than my last retrieval. And I snapped out of it because she had those little alcohol wipes and she said, oh, this is the old nurse's trick. I sat down because I was like coming to Grant. I almost felt like I was like gonna fall over. I was like, I'm gonna throw up in this lobby right now. But she had me smell the alcohol wipes and it took it away. So that's an amazing trick that I learned. I'd never heard of that before. And then after that, got in the car and I was feeling a little bit better. Like, yes, there was definitely pain. They gave me a little bit of Tylenol before I left, but I was feeling pain, but it felt similar to the last egg retrieval. There was pain that time. I had, some major bloating last time and pain. And I was expecting pretty much the same this time. Well, Grant had taken the day off of work so he could take care of me, which is wonderful. And we had lunch and we were just, gonna do it like we did last time.
Yeah, it seemed like once we got in the car, you had a little snack and you seemed to kind of bounce back. I was like, okay, just a little bump, but then we got some food in you. You were acting normal, you were kind of sleepy, but you were good to go. And then but from there on, and I guess that was about 2 o'clock once we kind of got you settled and
laying down,
and then from there it was just sort of
a decline.
Yeah,
we were like, we're just gonna do this like last time. It's gonna be a bed day. We're all gonna get in bed, watch TV, watch movies. And last time I was just like, okay, I took little naps through the day and I had the pain, but it was manageable. And this time around I was really out of it, and the pain just started to increase more and more and more as the hours went by. And it's kind of hard to explain because I've never felt pain like this, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone else describe this kind of situation before. But the pain just grew and grew and grew, and I could feel it from like my upper ribs here all the way down like into my legs, very intensely, a sharp, sharp pain. Anytime I moved, even breathing, even slightly deep, like I was just having to breathe very shallow. I couldn't roll from side to side without sharp, sharp pain. And I, couldn't get up and walk around. Like that was not a thing.
Yeah.
But it just slowly crept up to an intensity that, like, honestly, I've never felt pain like this before. Like, I've had major surgery before. I've broken my arm, broken my elbow, been in car accidents. I feel like I have a pretty good pain tolerance, but this was pain on a level I don't think I've ever had before. And it was so intense and so constant, and there was nothing I could do to get away from it. And standing, I would feel lightheaded, and laying down, there was no comfortable position. I just had to be very, very, very still. And something that was kind of odd, and I ended up learning something from it, is like I got really bad shoulder pain, you know, outside of all the other pain here, really bad in my shoulders and around my collarbones. And we both just thought it was because I was just holding my body so still and so tense from the pain, and not wanting to move and cause the pain to flare up more. And that's what was causing it. So I just kept trying to like relax my body and like go through the parts of my body, which is something I do whenever I have like a tension headache and stuff. And somehow it was all looped in, and it did make sense in the end. I'll tell that part in a minute. But it was just the most intense pain, and you know, the hours went by, it got worse and worse and worse, and I did go to the bathroom, and I ended up, you know, getting really lightheaded, and I threw up a ton, and the nausea was just so extreme. And we knew we were dealing with something serious already, but once I threw up, I think that we both just realized, okay,
Well,
this is another level.
Yeah, I mean, you threw up and then we're kind of on the floor in the bathroom. And we're like,
Yeah, I couldn't move. I couldn't get up because I couldn't get up by myself. Like Grant was having to help me get out of the bed. And like if I needed to like move my pillow, he was having to do that. Like reaching for things was like not an option. Like he was helping me so much. And yeah, I was just sitting on the bathroom floor. I had thrown up and he didn't know. And it was just like, you have to like pick me up off the floor because I cannot move because it hurts so bad to do anything involving my core.
Yeah.
And it just, the pain was so deep. And it wasn't like oh, I'm bloated, this is uncomfortable. It was like a stabbing pain. So we knew it was on another level once I started throwing up so much. And so we called the doctor on call, and he was worried, and he kind of threw it out there. Maybe this could be your ovaries bleeding. If you hear some whooping and stuff, one of our neighbors down the street is having a party and there's people outside. But he threw it out there that maybe my ovaries could be bleeding. But you know, it's very hard to know that over the phone. But he kind of left it up to us. You could go to the ER now and try to figure it out, or you can try to tough it out at home, and we'll see you first thing in the morning in the office. And looking back, I should have gone to the ER, but where I was in that moment was just extreme blinding pain like I've never felt before. And I could not bear the thought of even getting up and walking across the room, because if I got up, I would like just start sweating and feel like I was gonna faint. I couldn't even deal with that thought, much less getting up, getting in a car, going to the ER, and then being without Grant. I mean, I don't know what the rules are at that ER, but just most likely they weren't gonna let Grant in with me. And having to explain this whole situation to people while in the pain that I'm in, and risking them not knowing what I'm talking about and not knowing how to deal with me, and me just like sitting there.
Yeah, would have been
having no benefit from the situation. It's just, I know that probably sounds silly right now, but in that moment, that was just my decision. I was like, I just want to stay home because at least Grant is going to be right here by my side. And, you know, in the moment, if I need something, he's going to be there. And I just didn't want to go and be alone, you know?
Which is understandable. I mean, completely. I mean, you don't want to. I mean,
Well,
an ER is not the place to be right
We've
now.
had family members in the hospital through all this.
Yeah.
You know, we had you in the hospital last year. Even just you being in the hospital and me being with you, it was absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
You know, being in the hospital at any time is not a good situation, but whenever you are just in that amount of pain or as sick as he was, it's just, it almost makes it worse. It's just a crazy thing. I was talking to my sister about it. It's like, the moments whenever you need to be in the hospital the worst, you're the sickest, are also the same times when you want to be in the hospital least. Like, you can't be convinced to go when you need to go the most. And that was definitely the situation that I was in. So yeah, I stayed home, absolutely miserable, could not lay in any position and not feel extreme pain. And through the night, as I tried to sleep, I was waking up every 2 hours, and Grant had to help me get out of bed and literally like guide me to the bathroom. And slowly, it's like he totally like saved me in this situation, because we were so scared that I was just gonna faint in the bathroom. I mean, we've been through that before.
Yeah, that's not gonna
We
happen
do not
again.
want to do that again.
No.
I don't need like a broken bone on top of everything else going on. So he was helping me a lot, but through the night and into like the early morning, I started to feel a little bit more strength, or a little bit more like sure on my feet. Like I didn't feel like I was going to throw up or pass out as much.
Not better, just less.
Not
bad.
better, just able to walk,
Yeah.
which like
Slightly
at that
functional.
point was huge.
Yeah.
So we made it to the morning, barely, very little sleep and a lot of pain. And Grant took me to my appointment, and I got to see the doctor, and she did an ultrasound because we were just trying to figure out what's going on with me, and took my vitals and everything. And the ultrasound showed that I had some fluid and blood. So that means that the ovary or ovaries, both of them, were bleeding. And she wasn't sure if it was still bleeding or it was done bleeding, but at some point since the egg retrieval, it's been bleeding. And there was just like this section on the screen that was dark, and she said it was like fluid and blood mixed. And also during that appointment, she asked me if I had shoulder pain, and I hadn't even thought to mention it because I just thought it was me being tense. And I was like, yes, extremely, horribly. Like, I was complaining to Grant about it so much, and he was like rubbing my shoulders, and like nothing was working. No Tylenol, nothing could touch this pain. And she was like, yeah, that is associated with the pressure from the fluid buildup. It can hit the same nerves that will hurt your shoulders. Crazy. Like, I never knew that that could possibly be associated with this fluid and bleeding, internal bleeding. It hurts your shoulders. Like, I never would have guessed that ever in a million years. But I feel like that's important for me to say, because I never would have known that, and I don't know if you guys would know that. So that was an interesting connection. And then yet again, we were given two choices. Either I go to the hospital straight from the office, and they do tests and check me out and do blood tests just to see where my blood count is, or she could take the blood at the office and try to rush the results as fast as she could to see if I do need to go to the hospital. Honestly, I was pretty scared hearing everything she was telling me, but I felt encouraged that when I was walking, I didn't feel like I was gonna faint. And ultimately, you just wanna avoid the hospital at all costs. I mean, I know it's a necessary thing and you gotta go when you gotta go, but still, I was in the mode of just wanting to avoid it.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and let them take the blood in the office, went home with Grant, and we just had to wait for the results. And a few hours later, we got the results, and they were a little bit low, but not go to the hospital, you need blood low. So we felt like we were kind of in the clear. But
And you were continuing to like a little bit, like,
yes,
still feel a little bit better. And
the pain was coming down a little bit, and I was able to walk.
Able to get around better, yeah.
Yeah. So we were feeling encouraged. We weren't, I mean, it's just, to me, I keep going back and comparing everything to that day one pain. And I just keep feeling like if I didn't go to the hospital during that, I don't need to go to the hospital now. And so I just felt like I'm just gonna go home, wait it out, hope for the best, hope for the good results. And we had, you know, stable results on the blood count. So it was another at-home bed couch day, just resting, trying to heal. I mean, obviously there's nothing I can do, but the best I could do was just stay still, lay down, lay low. And she wanted me to come back the next morning, Friday morning, Did that, repeated the test, repeating the ultrasound, and when she did the ultrasound, she saw that same little area of blood and fluid, and it measured the same as it did the day before. So we felt confident that it wasn't active bleeding anymore. It was just, it had bled for a while the first day. I don't know how long or whatever, but it was bleeding and it had stopped. So, you know, I was on the road to feeling better, and I felt that, like, and then the blood count also came back the same. Actually, it improved a little bit, not up to like perfect normal, but I think it's like a slow increase when you start increasing. So good, stable there, all good news. So the last 3 days have been laying in bed, completely still, horrible pain, and then laying in bed in pain, but able to get up, laying on the couch, able to get up, but super bloated and also in pain. And now you see me here today, still in pain, but so much better on getting up. Don't feel lightheaded and woozy. I mean, I did a little bit today.
You're not back to 100%.
I know,
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to say I'm 100% good to go, ready to run a mile. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of killed me to go out today.
Right.
Not gonna lie, I think that we maybe like overdid it, even though we went to 2 places.
You gotta work yourself back up. You're not gonna
Yeah.
go back to 100%.
Yeah, so I'm not 100%. I'm definitely still messed up.
I'm so messed
I'm
up.
so messed up right
messed
now.
up.
But
You gotta go in steps. You're not just gonna go from I had internal bleeding to let's go party.
yeah, okay. So apparently you don't bounce back from internal bleeding super quickly.
Or an IVF stimulation cycle.
Yeah, that either. Yeah, I mean, last time I had pain, I had bloating, I had side effects, definitely, but it was just completely different this time. And I'm not saying I'm the only one that's been through this, definitely not, but I did want to tell my story and tell how this has gone, because I've told the other side of things. I've told you guys blow by blow of how everything went last egg retrieval, and that was a much, much smoother path. And I want to say the only piece of bad news really that I got on Friday from the doctor was that she said, okay, this bleeding, this blood, that's stable. This is not something we need to super worry about right now. But with your situation, this is going to turn into hyperstimulation, or OHSS. And I've mentioned hyperstimulation a few times through all of this and not really gone into it, but it's something that we've been worried about from the beginning, mainly because it's something that my sister Mary has gone through, and she's gone through the worst of it. Horrible, horrible hyperstimulation that has sent her to the hospital multiple times. She's had this hyperstimulation twice so far. She's had a very long fertility journey also, and I haven't talked about it on my channel just because I feel like it's not my story to tell. And I mentioned that I had somebody very close to me and I've seen hyperstimulation firsthand, and it was my sister. I just never felt very comfortable telling her story with all of this because I'm just very protective of my family, their privacy. She's had OHSS twice now, and it's very scary. It's absolute hell. And I've made my doctor very aware of this situation, you know, told her everything that she's gone through. She's had to be in the hospital and get drains to get any relief at all. And it's just obviously something that you want to avoid at all costs. And we've done everything possible for us to avoid those kind of side effects. But this time it looks like that's the road I'm on. If you're really nauseous, can't keep food down, and if you can't breathe, that's go to the hospital time with hyperstimulation. And my doctor says that, you know, you can turn a corner after less than a week with hyperstimulation, but I've seen with my sister, it can last all the way until your next cycle starts. And it's just, it's no joke. I've seen some messages come in on Instagram because I have talked about my situation this week on Instagram a little bit, and other people have had the same go with hyperstimulation. It is just really, really hard. It's
big time. It's
a situation that they say is rare, but I don't know. My sister's been through it twice, and I guess I'm going through it now. I guess that's where we're at right now. Hyperstimulation. I'm super bloated. I've gained like 10 pounds. It's painful. Obviously the bloating is the least of my worries at this point because I can still breathe. Well, I mean, that's the only time like you'd be like, you know, I don't care that my belly is big right now. Like, it's not comfortable. I'll show you in a little bit if you care. So obviously we're keeping a very close eye on that situation. We don't want to overlook anything. But I just keep comparing everything back to that day one. I can't help but be very positive and encouraged, even though I am not okay and not in a good situation at all right now, because I keep comparing it back to that day one, because that was just the worst thing maybe I've ever been through, which I feel dramatic saying that, but no, that was it for me. That was the worst. Yeah. Like, it was awful. But I do have to say, none of that matters. It does matter. It really matters. It matters that I am okay and my health is good. But I am so happy. No matter how I feel, I am so happy because we have gotten good news already from day one to today's update from the embryologist. And we're going to tell you everything about that. Do you want to tell?
Yeah. So day of the retrieval, we got 20 eggs. The following day, we get our day one call, and they updated us that of the 20, 10 were found to be immature. They didn't fertilize those. 10 were mature, so they did go through and fertilize those using ICSI. And all were showing signs of growth of those 10. So now fast forward, we're at day 3. Our call today showed that 8 of our 10 were growing just as expected, which is phenomenal. We have another one that is growing a little bit slower, but still could catch up. Mm-hmm. And then only one of them is not really growing that well and will probably not make it. But so 8 to 9 out of that 10 at day 3 at the halfway point is really phenomenal. We'll hear again in a couple days the final number that they're going to go through with the freezing process and biopsy process with. So, but we're doing a whole lot better than the last time. So
yeah, we're freaking out. This is like incredible news. Grant is not showing our excitement totally right now, but we're so excited.
This has been...
This definitely exceeded our expectation. We were, you know, obviously you talk about it as you're waiting for these phone calls and these updates, and you have to kind of like, you know, go back and forth and think like, oh, if it was this number, then maybe it could turn out to this. And, you know, it's just, that's just what happens. And we were thinking like, you know, we'd be so happy if our day 3 call told us that, you know,
we had 4 or 5.
We had 4 or 5.
We were the same as last time. So
yeah. And so to have 8, maybe 9 that are fertilized and growing, we're just over the moon right now. And like Grant said, day 6 update is like kind of like the last update, but it's not exactly. I'll explain. We will get a big piece of news on Tuesday coming up, and then we'll get another big piece of news the following week to hear how the embryos tested. I don't know. I am just so excited. And, you know, from our last retrieval, we have one great quality embryo frozen right now. And I actually see a lot of questions coming in like, what about your other embryo? And that embryo is not forgotten on any level. Like we are still so excited that we got that embryo, but the reason why we have continued on and done another retrieval and are hoping for more embryos is because with my age right now, we want to kind of take advantage of the eggs I have at my age right now.
We kind of heard recommendations from people and talking to the doctor that if you can go through and get all your embryos at the youngest age possible, they're going to be the healthiest.
Yeah, and you'll have a better success rate. And they can stick and they can become live babies, happy family babies. Yeah. And obviously that's all you want. That's why we're doing all of this. So if we can have additional embryos waiting for us after, you know, our first transfer, that is the most we could wish for. That's the most we could hope for. And
because we'd like, I mean, it'd be great if we could be, you know,
done with this part of the whole process. Like, ideally, this would be our last retrieval, and obviously we cannot count our chickens before they hatch. We have to see how this goes. We have another big update and another big update after that. And, you know, this is really great news right now. And we are, you know, on a high of the roller coaster. On the last couple of days, we've been kind of on a low, but we've had that really good news about the eggs and the retrieval and the fertilization. You know, that gets you through. Hearing that, you know, they did get eggs from your retrieval. You did get embryos. They are growing. That's what gets you through whenever you are suffering with side effects or complications like I had.
If this cycle hadn't worked and then the next time you had to be on even higher doses,
it would be scary.
That would have been so scary. Yeah.
It would be scary knowing what could happen to me as a result of another retrieval.
Yeah.
So we are very grateful right now. We are counting our blessings. We are so happy. Even though we've been through awful things this week, we are getting better. The roller coaster is ticking back up. Like I said in the last vlog, we were tick going up, and it was a major low this week. Just lower than we could have ever imagined, way lower than we ever expected. But I feel like we are on a high ever since that call this morning. A lot of really bad things have happened, but right now we're in a good place. We're very hopeful, and we are so grateful for all of your prayer, your happy thoughts, and your cookie eating, and all of those things. I appreciate you guys so much. We probably need to make more cookies tonight.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is the update. I feel like it was probably really long, and my camera is telling me it might be running out of space. So perfect time to end this. I think I'm going to rest. So we're gonna do that right now. All right, I've been doing a little resting and relaxing, watching Harriet the Spy, and now it's time for our shot. We only have one shot that we have to do right now, and then I have to take that medicine, but this one's pretty easy. Oh my gosh, did you hear my stomach?
Yeah, hungry girl.
I'm not hungry. All right, so I'm done with my shot, and I wanted to show you my bloating situation before we have dinner, and dinner is coming. We ordered in fajitas, and I'm not showing you this because I'm like, oh my gosh, my body is bad or anything like that. It's just basically showing you what can happen when you do an egg retrieval and what hyperstimulation and everything that has happened in the last week looks like, basically. I feel like I'm definitely a lot more bloated than I was last time, and it's not very comfortable, and it kind of basically looks like it could be like a full-on baby bump, but of course it's not. As my sister would say, it is a cruel joke that you basically look like you are coming along in pregnancy, but obviously you're not, and it's uncomfortable, and this is like almost 10 pounds overnight, and it's really tight, and it's hard to eat. It's hard to know whenever you have to pee, and it hurts, but it will get better. I am confident about that, but right now it's a look. All right, our fajitas have arrived, and I couldn't be happier, even though I pretty much already feel full.